back to the Virgo channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Interpret the message as it best resonates. Cross watchers are always more than welcome to watch for that purpose, because you never know whose perception you're going to hear. You know, there's many different perceptions to situations. And when we have spiritual blocks, which are our shadows, create our shadows, they're the parts of ourself that we have detached from, dissociated from. They're the parts of ourself that we've rejected, that we feel that there's something wrong with. And so we form behaviorisms and habits that are in alignment with the core beliefs that we form from the experiences that we go through. So understand, you may be connected to a soulmate, someone that really is crazy passionate about you, but you just don't think the way that they think. They don't think the way that you think. Their situations that they've gone through have created spiritual blocks that are actually going to trigger you, and vice versa, but you're a soul connection. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how soul mates, whether they're twin flame, soulmate, family, life partner, there's many different types of soulmates. Anybody could be your soulmate. A dog actually could be your soulmate. You can have an animal as your soulmate, because it's about the spirit. It's about the spirit part of that animal. I swear, my husband's dog is one of my husband's soulmates. Came into my husband's life at a time that he needed a little extra emotional support. The higher self always knows. The higher self is a God part of self, and the God part of self is a part of ourself that is part of source, part of the energy of the universe, part of what's collective. And when I say collective, every single person in the universe has a spirit part of self and has this God part of self, which is unconditional love. And it's how we connect to each other. It's called empathy, sensitivity. I don't need to know you to have empathy for you, or to feel, or to be able to walk in your shoes. We can all do that. And because we all can do that, it's called, we can all know what unconditional love is. We all know how to embody that energy. However, like I said, we're all also born into environments, and not just environments, but our family. We inherit family karma, ancestral karma, collective karma, and then our own individual karma that we wrap up on our own. And so all these karmas are spiritual lessons. So these spiritual lessons play out by the people, with the people that come into our life, the people that the universe brings into our life. And so obviously we wouldn't sign up to be with someone that we're passionate about and we love, but we also can't stand them. Like, it sounds like a paradox. And that's what happens. We hold vibrational dissonance when we begin to resent the person that we're with. And that's what really does happen when we get triggered a lot by the person that we're with. It's like, that's what happens when you have spiritual blocks. See, why the universe happens to bring you your soulmate to teach you this is because there is unconditional love, which will make you look at the situation more than just shrug it off. A lot of times we will still want to shrug it off. And so a lot of times the ego part of ourself, which is the dust part of self, which is where our shadows are, that's when we get stuck in being, stubborn, when we get stuck in our perception of being right. So like I said, there's many different perceptions to a situation. If there's two people, there's yours and then the other person, like they always say, there's yours, mine, and the truth. Well, it's again, whoever you're dealing with, it's yours, whoever you're dealing with, and the actual truth. And the reason why is because perceptions and depending on your wounds are going to determine how you perceive the actual situation and what your behaviorisms are. Epigenetics proves this, proves that it's our environment that creates our reality. So today we're going to see how your spiritual blocks and your person's spiritual blocks are playing out as karmic themes within your experience and what you could do to help balance out your situation. Exquisiteness. Now that's you say, well, what kind of spiritual block is exquisiteness? Well, listen, I perceive that in this particular story, that sometimes it's our uniqueness, our difference that can trigger people. Because first of all, it's different. Second of all, it's like it's other people notice that it's different. And so a lot of times someone wants to downplay your exquisiteness. They want to, not see how special that you are. And it's not because you're not, it's because it triggers people to look at themselves and it triggers them to say, well, where's my exquisiteness? And so I feel as if you're different, you're unique, you do things different. So at first, people may not really understand your style. They may not understand you. However, the more times that people are around you, the more sensitive they actually see that you are. I think in the beginning, people tend to think that you're, you know, don't lack empathy, lack sensitivity. And then, but that's not really true. It's that you care and you show that you care through your own unique way. And I also feel like what you do for a living, you have your own distinct style. So if you're an influencer, you have your the way that you influence is different. You might have competitors that get all dressed up and fancy, and maybe you just happen to just show up. But what you're saying is something that people really resonate with. People understand. It's your own unique style. Maybe some of you are an artist. It doesn't matter what the craft, what this is saying is that your exquisiteness is your unique individuality. And that tends to trigger people. And it triggers people because, like I said, for a lot of different reasons. And it doesn't mean that people can't love you or like you, but what it means is a lot of times we're dealing with people that are not healed and we don't realize that they're not healed, and we're also not healed and we don't realize that we're not healed. And you might say, well, how do I know that I'm not healed? Well, if you don't see your own exquisiteness, then no one else is going to praise your exquisiteness either. If you're waiting for people to applaud you and pat you on the back about your style in order to keep moving forward, well, that's not going to happen. It's like you got to know your own exquisiteness. And when you know your own exquisiteness, you attract people to you that appreciate your unique style. You're not surrounded by petty people. So again, you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. So even though I'm focusing on the person that you're connected to, that I feel like you're different, and in the beginning they perceived you as one way and you're not that way. They're actually seeing like you're a diamond, that you're very rare, that you're different, and they didn't see it. And now it's triggering them because it's not just triggering them like, why didn't I see it? But it's also, where's my exquisiteness? So again, this person holds like, again, a paradoxical energy inside of them towards you. So I want to see if you've dealt with this person before. It's again, yeah, this person is broken. And the thing is, it's like they tend to be a loner, but I feel like when they're in a relationship with someone, you feel like you're also alone. And that's because when a person is broken, they emotionally can't be there for you. Like I said, I automatically felt like you were something like you were getting praise for your job, for your craft, for something that you do differently. It's your exquisiteness. So maybe again, whatever you're doing within work, you're going to get a lot of recognition for. You're going to get a lot of attention for. And it doesn't matter if you're an influencer, you're not an influencer, you could be a doctor, it doesn't matter. But you're going to get a promotion. You're going to, again, get a lot of recognition. People are going to see you're different. And I feel like you never liked how you were. It's like, so you didn't see your exquisiteness because exquisiteness is different. It's rare. And so people tend to not like what's rare in the beginning, but then after a while, they see the truth. They see the truth. I'm also feeling like you're in a higher vibration than most people. So you tend to treat people really nice, and people don't really treat you that nicely. Because again, and I feel like you walked away, and so they're in a place of feeling crushed. And I feel like they also tend to, they're crushed inside on an emotional level. I feel like the person that you're connected to was told, don't show your feelings, don't show your emotions. Anytime that they felt or showed emotions, they were immediately told to shut down in childhood. And then every relationship that they wind up with, I feel like they're not the dominant person. They're the person that's the weaker person. And in a relationship, it's not really supposed to be one person stronger, one person's weaker, but usually there is one person that has a more dominant personality. Because again, relationships are spiritual and they teach us balance. They're supposed to teach us balance, which means that we have too much male energy. Well, we're going to be very dominant. We're going to be tend to be controlling. We're going to be very logical, linear way of thinking, not very emotional. I mean, these are traits. It's not so much that men aren't emotional, but remember, that's not what they're known for. That when I'm talking about male, I'm talking about that alpha male. When I'm talking about like a woman that is not an alpha woman, it's like she's going to be more intuitive, more spiritual, more creative, like more sensual. They have again spiritual energy, higher energies. However, if you have too much of one, one like gender, if you have too much male, that's bad. If you have too much female, that's bad. So, and the reason why is because too much female energy and not enough male energy means that you're very intuitive and creative, but you might not be able to know how to make money. You may not know how to work with the elements of the physical world as well. You may not have a good connection to the physical body. One of those is going to definitely, for sure, if you have too much feminine energy. If you have too much male energy, your third eye is closed. Your crown, you don't get divine guidance because you're dealing with, again, now and me. It's more ego, it's more logical, it's more linear, it's more strategic, it's not intuitive. So, Spirit says in life, it's not one or the other. We have to utilize and pull on both these energies. So we pull people to us that are missing elements. And the reason why is because of the environment that they grew up in. And when I say missing, it's that those parts of themselves were suppressed for so long that they don't even feel like a part of us anymore. We don't remember those parts. If anything, if we try to remember, there's a numbing feeling, and that's from living in survival, which a lot of times is what creates the detachment, fear. So emotional fear of not being loved, of not being good enough, of having too much shame or guilt is when we're talking about crushed emotionally. This is what we're talking about. When we're talking about broken, this is what we're talking about. And that you have to understand that why your exquisiteness would trigger someone that's broken, and why, and what the spiritual energy that we all have parts of ourselves that we detach from. They play out differently as karmic themes. In this particular one, we're talking about the person that you're connected to. And so we're dealing with such shadow energies, like we're looking at the blocks. We have to further than look at the triggers, obviously, right? We have to look at the triggers. I felt undervalued and I treated you the same way, so you would know how it feels. So I feel like, this person like deliberately just that they don't know how to treat you, first of all. However, there's a lack within inside of them. They hurt people. And so I feel like this person deliberately went out of their way to try and make you feel as if, you weren't special. Like that you weren't special to them, even though I feel like you are. And then I feel like you tried to do it back to them, and it's like they're used to it. So it's like you get back down on their level, it just makes you feel not good. It makes you feel, but it's a way of like, what am I supposed to do? I try and talk to this person isn't listening to me, and they're not going to listen that way because they've already had done that. And it's again because they have abandonment issues. So they will not let you get close. So why did you attract this person? Well, like goes to like, so most likely you have abandonment issues as well. But we can find out by looking at the inner child wounds. Because again, you have to understand, why would you attract this energy? Because guess what? You can get the hell rid of this person, but someone that has the same habits, the same blocks, or maybe just a little bit, but it's again, it'll play out as the same karmic theme until you get to the root of the matter. And that's to understand what are the childhood wounds. And a lot of times your childhood wounds will tell you what your ancestral karma is as well. Optimism. So I feel like when we tend to have rose-colored glasses on, and I feel like you had rose-colored glasses growing up, and then what had happened is it's like you got hurt over time, and that happens when we're really sensitive, highly sensitive people. Empathic people tend to overgive, overdo. They get their emotional support a lot of times from giving. So there's a psychological belief on it's unconscious that I have to give in order to be loved. And but understand it's because we're optimistic that we're going to get it back. And people treat you the way that you teach them to treat you. And if you're teaching them that they don't have to do it for you, they don't. So this person didn't think that you were going to, like, again, hold them to it because you were so nice. They didn't think that you knew your worth. Where again, sometimes when we have abandonment issues, we also tend to give more. Again, wonder. And not being able to know, like when I'm talking about the wonder, it's like the wonder in you, the wonder in the world. What is the wonder in the world? Anything that you want it to be. It's like when you go on journeys, when you go on trips and you go like to try different things, when you have a love affair with yourself and you find yourself, you find the wonder in you, which is your exquisiteness. Which is your exquisiteness, which this person sees your exquisiteness. They didn't want you to see your exquisiteness. That's why they were going to treat you beneath. But that's not because they didn't see it. It's because that they're broken. So again, But the truth of the matter here is what's at stake is really to develop your exquisiteness even more. We have to have a love affair with ourselves. We have to try things. You have to go out and try things. Ship and sun in the harbor are nice, but that's not what they're made for. It's to go out and explore into the world, to really know who you are, so that you can attract the right people and the right situations into your life. How would you know if you haven't lived? So I feel like because you were so sensitive and you overgave and overdid, Virgo, it's like you weren't really creating yourself. Remember, the Bible says, be like childlike. And the reason why is because children go out and they find themselves. They don't have like a preconceived notions about what it should look like. They don't have expectations. They don't believe that anything, they don't say that's mine. Well, they might say that's mine, but they usually, if they're out playing together and they're building a clubhouse, no one's saying that's mine. They say that that's ours. It's like everything's the better of all. Children do. I mean, if you have 10 kids on the block, they usually don't leave one kid out. I mean, they never did growing up. They might make that one person be the person that's gotta go get the water and gotta go get the snacks and do the shit jobs, but nevertheless, that person's still in the group. It's like, and they kind of just accept that that's their role because they're just happy to be in the group. Well, it's again, that's kind of like, I feel like you were that person that, overgave and overdid and was just happy to be included. And so people tend to confuse the humbleness with being weak, you not knowing your worth, you not seeing your exquisiteness. However, what Spirit's saying is, I don't think that you do know your exquisiteness that much. So I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to bring this person into your life, and this person is going to bring it out in you. Meaning, like, what are you offering? You're not really offering me anything, and this person's broken. And Spirit says, well, like goes to like, and you say to Spirit, well, why would you bring a broken person into my life? And Spirit says, well, I bring a broken person into your life, Virgo, because you don't know who your exquisiteness yet. You again, you don't know your value yet. And that's because you never went out into the world. You never found the wonder in you. You never went out and explored. You were sheltered due to what was going on in the environment. Your sensitivity. You were born sensitive. You inherited sensitivity from your family, but you also inherited sensitivity from the environment, because imbalanced environments. And when you feel abandoned, it's again on a psychological level, you're fearful. And so sensitive children do more. They want to be good. So Spirit says you were too worried about being good that you didn't go out and explore and find yourself. So now do it, because there's a whole beautiful thing, and what people are going to see your exquisiteness, even those people that didn't value. And they're going to be sorry that they didn't treat you the way that they should have, but that's their karma. And that's what Spirit's saying. It's like this person is broken. They need to learn their karma. And they need to learn their karma because they didn't value you, but they need to, or not because they didn't care, but because they need to do a lot of healing on themselves. They're broken. Abandonment issues will do that. All the time. If we don't feel that we're lovable, it's like then we're going to undervalue ourselves, that we're not going to value anything for that long, because it's all about healing. And so it doesn't mean that you didn't value you. I mean, it doesn't mean that you didn't value other people. The Spirit is saying for you to hang out with this person, you weren't valuing yourself enough. It's like, if that's what you're going to expect, because this person's broken. And then we say, well, what is the energy we're supposed to bring into it? The voice of the heart. I silence the fear in me and discover the voice of my heart. The fruit of these words guides me. I trust the song of my soul. My intuition leads me on the path of light. So this goes along with like the wonder, going out into the world, finding yourself by listening to like what calls to your heart. It's again, and being guided by your intuition. And because your intuition is the higher self, and the higher self is the God part of self. That's the all knowing part of ourselves that knows exactly what we want and how to get there. We don't know in advance. We tend to, if we knew in advance, we would get too much in our way, too much logical, analytical thinking. We get in our own way and we tend to sabotage ourselves because it's overthinking creates, overstimulation. And so then we can't think at all. But when we're doing what we love, again, being led by our heart, we're giving and receiving of love through our free will. We're able to, again, be like childlike. And that means that we don't have any expectations of what it should look like. And that we're just, again, becoming the vibration of unconditional love by doing what we love and by being in the energy of children, which is joy, happiness. And so then you become that magnet for what is supposed to come into your life. Don't try and logically figure out what's it going to look like, where is it going to be. Spirit saying you can't, because even though you don't treat people bad, you were still broken. If you don't know who you are, then it's just as bad as a person that's broken, because there's only two energies, love and fear, and not knowing who you are, that would create fear. So that's why you attracted this person. However, you have the opportunity to go out into the world and choose you. This opportunity hasn't happened yet, but this person, again, didn't treat you well. But I'm feeling like they have feelings and they are going to come back. They didn't treat you well, but that reason why that happened was so that you could put the energy into yourself. Again, water underneath the bridge. They would might feel again like there's water under a silent treatment. So giving you the silent treatment. Again, I feel like they're still kind of playing games a little bit. I didn't mean what I said, which again, I feel like they tend to, when they get triggered, they just react, and they didn't mean what they said, but I just don't feel like this person's mature enough. So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to be with this person, because I do believe that they'll eventually Miranda back. It's just they're not going to do it in a way of really apologizing and not really wanting to talk about what transpired, because they're not emotionally intelligent. So, and that dealing with them would not be in alignment with your heart. But I give you free will. I mean, you have free will to choose whatever you do. And with my shadow readings, I don't really like to predict. However, like I said, this person is going to be really slow to move and would definitely drag down your energy. And spirit says that's not the time. You see, following your bliss, again, finding the wonder in you, opposed to again being stuck connected to a person that is so not healed. It's like you would be miserable. I'm going to leave that there, Virgo, but it's all up to you, but always be true to you. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon. And if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, don't forget to write exquisiteness in your comment bar. And also know if I chose you, I'll write the word winner underneath, and we'll correspond back and forth on YouTube. And then you can just reach out to me through my email, pureenergyhealer70@gmail.com. So then this way I can send you the link the day and time that we decide. And I usually send it like a few hours before, or maybe even the day before. So definitely be on the lookout for that, as well as check out the description box for all my subscriptions. If you're looking for shadow healing, You know, my shadow healing course is the best. $7.99 gets you inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to heal the effects of trauma. I'll talk to you soon, Virgo. Bye.